There are times in football when, despite pulling for the same cause, teammates simply don't see eye to eye. This can lead to some moments that fans really don't want to see. Most teammates look at one another like brothers in arms and will back them up no matter what. But sometimes, teammates shared animosity that has known to turn friends into foes and has even ruined the dressing room environment. So today, we're going to look at some of the players who absolutely hated each other and struggled to coexist while defending the same colors. Number 1. Gerard Piqué and Alvaro Arbeloa. Whichever way we put it, there's no denying that Gerard Piqué is a Spain and Barcelona legend. He has won every single trophy for club and country. However, the experienced center-back has always been a staunch hater of anything related to Real Madrid. Piqué was in fact one of the main reasons why the Barca and Madrid rivalry threatened to derail the prospect of Spain ruling international football. Throughout his career, Piqué has mocked Real Madrid, famously making fun of them when Los Blancos were expelled from Copa del Rey after fielding an ineligible player. But that is all fine. Players tend to be happy at the downfall of clubs they see as rivals. What really surprises us is that Piqué never respected former defender Alvaro Arbeloa, who represented Real Madrid with distinction for a number of years. The feud between these two is quite something. They have traded insults on social media and were always at each other's throats during the many El Clasicos they competed in. Piqué once revealed that he never considered Arbeloa a teammate and went as far as to compare him to a cone. There was so much hate between the two that Sergio Ramos of all people had to step in to calm things down. Since then, the two have sort of moved on from their ways, with Piqué even wishing Arbeloa the best of luck, and even said that his former teammate deserves all the silverware he has won in his career. Number 2. Kolo Touré and William Gallas. When you are teammates with someone like William Gallas, there is never a dull day. The Frenchman was always something of a loose cannon in a sense that he took issue with everything under the sun. There was a time when he shared a dressing room with Kolo Touré. The Ivorian and the Frenchman were Arsene Wenger's preferred center-back pairing at that time, so their communication was crucial to the Gunners. However, the two men barely spoke, which impacted the team's defensive output. It all began when Gallas lost the captain's armband. While the two never came to blows, Touré decided to leave Arsenal for his mental peace. However, his request to leave halfway through the season was rejected. Eventually, Touré got his wish, and he was sold to Manchester City. The Ivorian would go on to enjoy a lot of success in Manchester, while Gallas moved to Tottenham a year later, where he did not win anything of great significance. Number 3. Igor Stimac and Sinisa Mihajlovic. Some of our older viewers would know a lot about this particular feud, and it is quite an interesting one since it has deep political roots. Both Stimac and Mihajlovic knew each other as teenagers and helped Yugoslavia to an Under-21 World Cup in 1987. At club level, they represented two neighboring cities. In fact, these two would often bump into each other in bars and cafes. There was a time when their friends asked them not to be too close to one another. They did not read much into these things until there was a war between Croatia and Serbia. The war was as bloody as you would expect. Many people lost their lives, and both Mihajlovic and Stimac had strong feelings towards the conflict. Things came to a head during a meeting between Red Star Belgrade and Hajduk Split. Igor Stimac was the captain of Split while Mihajlovic was leading the Serbians. Before the game kicked off, Stimac whispered to his former teammate, "I hope our guys kill your entire family in Borovo." Mihajlovic was naturally angry at this. Completely forgetting that this was a cup final, he focused solely on hurting a person whom he shared many evenings with. The game was a brutal affair, and Hajduk won by 1-0. Number 4. Andy Cole and Teddy Sheringham. These two gentlemen were part of Sir Alex Ferguson's most successful Manchester United side that won the treble in 1999. Both men were the best strikers of their time. Sheringham was much more experienced, while Andy Cole had only just begun to make a name for himself. No one knew that Sheringham harbored a lot of resentment towards his teammate. That all changed when Cole was handed his England debut against Uruguay. He replaced Sheringham, who did not even shook his club mate's hand while being subbed. While not many people read much into that incident, rumors started surfacing that Sheringham felt insecure at United due to Cole's presence. One of the reasons why he left for Tottenham was because at United, Sheringham was just another player, and at Tottenham, he was the center of attention. Years later, Cole admitted that he did not like Sheringham at all. I wouldn't ever cast aspersions on Sheringham's talent as a top-rate footballer for his clubs and country. I just loathed him personally for 15 years. Number 5. Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Oguchi Aniwu. Okay, so a list of teammates that hate each other would seem very empty without Zlatan in it. The Swede has always been a bit of an enigmatic player, and it was during his time at AC Milan when he had an issue with one of his teammates. It was the year 2010. Milan were at the peak of their powers, winning league titles with minimum fuss. During a training session, Aniwu took exception to a Zlatan tackle. Standing at 6 feet and 5 inches, the USMNT defender was an imposing person. However, Ibrahimovic, with his black belt, was never going to back down from a challenge. The American defender aimed a punch at the striker, who reciprocated with a headbutt. A fight ensued which had to be controlled by 10 players and every member of the coaching staff. Aniwu would eventually leave Milan in 2011, but retired with the knowledge that he did manage to break Zlatan's ribs. Number 6. Mauro Icardi and Maxi Lopez. The feud between these two men is definitely something that can be adapted by a streaming giant. This is a story that shows the power women can wield. Icardi and Lopez were teammates at Sampdoria. At that time, Lopez was married to Wanda Nara. As it turned out, Icardi was having an affair with his teammate's wife. 6 months later, Lopez and Nara filed for divorce. Now Icardi could have just walked away, but the striker decided to be his pompous self, posting photos of Lopez's kids with him on Twitter. Italian mafia did not like Icardi's antics and even offered to break his legs and end his career. However, Lopez took the high road and refused his offer. Fortunately, the former Argentine international had the support of Lionel Messi, Diego Maradona, and Inter Milan, who made sure that Icardi regretted the moment he decided to sleep with someone else's wife. Number 7. Zlatan and Rafael van der Vaart. Ah yes, it's Zlatan again. Well, the issue he had with Aniwu was not the first time the Swedish striker rubbed a teammate the wrong way. During his early playing days, Zlatan was a hot prospect at Ajax. He was teammates with Rafael van der Vaart, who at that time was the darling of Dutch football. The two met against each other in an international friendly between Sweden and the Netherlands, where a Zlatan tackle injured the playmaker. However, Ibra says that he never intended to injure him. The two had a meeting with the then Ajax manager Ronald Koeman, who really wanted the two to sort out their issues. However, Ibrahimovic was not having it and even threatened to break van der Vaart's legs if he did not apologize for his sensational claims. Number 8. Craig Bellamy and Jan Arne Riise. Remember the time when Craig Bellamy represented Liverpool? The Welsh striker always had something of a bad boy image, especially when he initially started playing in the Premier League. It so happens that in 2007, Liverpool had crashed out of the FA Cup at the hands of Newcastle United. Rafa Benitez decided to take his players to Portugal for a one-week training camp. And that is where we found out that Bellamy was not a huge fan of Jan Arne Riise. The two men had an issue during a training session and nearly came to blows. The same day, the striker decided to pay a visit to Riise in his room and started hitting him with a golf club. However, Bellamy says that he used the club only because he was sick and tired of the Norwegian fullback's antics throughout the day. Years later, Riise claimed that he could have been seriously injured. Bellamy later said that it wasn't a proud moment for him.